Everyone, I hope you all can hear me and see me clearly. Good afternoon, Arpit sir. We can see you clearly, we can hear you clearly. You can share your screen, then we are good to go. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the afternoon session with our expert, Mr. Arpit Beriwal, our Bank Nifty expert. We will start the session in next 1 minute. We'll start with a quick index overview, any trades or strategy trade if possible. If not, we'll give you a quick overview for tomorrow's expiry, जो कि Nifty expiry है, with our expert Shivangi Sharda, who will be taking it up tomorrow at 2:30 p.m. Then we'll move towards the BTST and the stocks that will be on our radar for the next couple of days. And if you have any queries, feel free to drop them in the comment section. We'll be happy to take them up one by one. And if your queries are not answered, please feel free to drop them on Stockomo. We'll take it up there. Arpit sir, over to you.
Sure. Very good afternoon, guys. So today, since morning, we have seen a lot of announcement at the border front, and because of which a lot of people were asking why the VIX is rising from last couple of days. So far, if we see VIX is still higher, India VIX, that is a volatility index. So if we just talk about India VIX, I'll be starting with India VIX. So volatility index has risen from 13, 14 levels to almost 18 to 19 levels, because of which volatility is there. In the first hour, post that we have seen some sideways to choppiness, and last an hour, if you see some momentum is seen in Bank Nifty and Nifty from the lower levels. So starting with the index, followed by the CDI calls, which are looking good, followed by any strategy that we can deploy for tomorrow's expiry, and then few BTST or STBT trades as per the market set advice. So first and foremost, starting with Nifty. Nifty, if we talk about overall from last 7 to 8 sessions, Nifty is trading in a broader range where multiple support is seen near 24,200, where at the same time multiple hurdles are seen near 24,600 levels. And if we see over here, this has been the structure for the Nifty. From last couple of days, market opened, it moves higher, then it corrects low to the lower levels, and then it remains sideways. I think there is some technical issue. Anuj is not there. No worries, but at least we can still continue with the flow. And now talking about the level wise, Nifty, over the bias is positive. Abhi Nifty chal raha hai 24,400 ke around. And if I look at the daily and the weekly setup also, overall range over to positive bias hai. Multiple supports are seen at lower levels, but at the same time, hurdles are intact at higher levels. So levels wise, Nifty 24,200 is a major support. जब तक Nifty 24,200 के ऊपर रहता है, हमारा bias positive रहेगा towards 24,500, 24,650 levels तक के Nifty में. Now to coming on to the Bank Nifty, if I look at the Bank Nifty chart, so बैंक निफ्टी का अगर हम चार्ट सेटअप वाइज देखें, सो पिछले 7 से 8 दिनों से लोअर राइज बना रहा था. ऑलरेडी हमने थोड़ी सी प्रॉफिट बुकिंग देखी अपने लाइफ हाई टेरिटरी से 56,000 के लेवल से. दैट वाज द न्यू लाइफ टाइम हाई. And today, after opening on a flattish note, since then it took support near 54,000 levels, and post that एक धीरे धीरे हमने नीचे के लेवल से रिकवरी देखी है. बट अगर हम डेली चार्ट देखें, सो पिछले 3 से 4 दिन से लोअर राइज बना रहा है. आज बुलिश कैंडल बनाई है और प्रीवियस ब्रेकआउट को रिटेस्ट किया है. बट इंपॉर्टेंट ये है, हमें देखना पड़ेगा कि बैंक निफ्टी आज 54,500 उसके ऊपर क्लोजिंग आती है कि नहीं. दैट वुड बी अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट लेवल फॉर बैंक निफ्टी टू वॉच आउट फॉर. Immediate for bank nifty would be between 54,000 to 55,000. Within that, specific banking stocks momentum is likely to be seen. जो मेजर कश या जो मेजर मोमेंटम था जो अर्निंग सीजन के पहले था, that has been fade off, because March and April series was quite good momentum was seen in banking series. But post that, the outcome of Kotak Bank, SBI, the results, little bit we have seen some profit booking in these specific counters. And कल भी हमने PSU banks के थोड़े से weak results देखे थे, जिसके वजह से हमने थोड़ा cool off देखा था बैंकिंग में. बट अच्छी बात यह है, ICICI बैंक और HDFC बैंक are holding well, so comparatively वो थोड़ा सा सपोर्ट दे रहा है बैंक निफ्टी को. So level wise में 54,000 major support zone है, upper one में 55,000 would be the hurdle zone for bank nifty on the immediate basis. Continue with the flow. If we talk about the overall market wise, as we're discussing India VIX, so let me pull out the India VIX chart also. So अगर हम देखें तो पिछले 7 से 8 दिनों से रोज higher lows, higher rise, higher lows का formation बना रहा है, mainly because of the ongoing tension at the border front. But in the meantime, if we see a couple of good things also happen that has been favored, that is the FTA agreement, and along with that, global market are relatively better. But as we are seeing, there's a escalation issue at the border front. So there is a volatility that is rising, and we have to watch this indicator closely because tomorrow being the weekly expiry, so definitely intraday swings can be seen within this range for Nifty. Having said that, broader market में काफी अच्छा momentum है. And if we see the setup wise overall, so broader market में काफी बड़ा momentum है and stocks specific action काफी बढ़िया है. And today also if we see stocks में काफी अच्छा momentum है. I'll just take a minute pause and I'll just get it recheck whether our host is able to rejoin or no. Okay, yeah, perfect. So he has rejoined. And if you talk about from the stock specific wise, we have given. Yes, Anuj.
No, sir, we are good. We are good to go. Continue.
Yeah. Okay. So talking about Nifty, Bank Nifty, are both a view would be positive till the time Nifty holds 24,200 and Bank Nifty holds 54,000 levels. Important है overnight VIX is rising, so overnight आप जो भी positions कर रहे हैं उसको please hedge करके रखिए. Now talking from the stock specific front, one of the CDI calls that we have given, so पूरा chemical fertilizer space काफी अच्छा है and उसमें हम SRF अगर देखें तो monthly setup काफी strong है. Weekly setup पे almost higher highs पे higher band पे trade कर रहा है. आज strong bullish candle बनाई है, lower highs को negate किया है. It's on the verge of a massive range breakout above 3,000 levels. So definitely, positionally, we can expect good 7 to 8% rally in this stock towards 3,200, 3,300 levels. So SRF would be a first CDI call. अभी चल रहा है 3,050 के around. So अब ये range में buy कर सकते हैं. 2920 का stop loss रख के ऊपर 3250 के target के लिए SRF would be a first CDI call. So I'll repeat the levels. SRF अभी चल रहा है 3,050 के अराउंड. आप इस लेवल पे बाय कर सकते हैं. थोड़े से डिप पे 3,040 से लेकर 3,050 के रेंज में 2920 का स्टॉप लॉस रख के ऊपर 3250 के टारगेट के लिए SRF बाय कर सकते हैं. Perfect. Apart from that, second counter that is looking good from the financial pack is Bajaj Finance, and as we said the name, it is at days highs. So if we see the chart setup as a Bajaj Finance, it has been clear uptrend from last couple of months. The stock is corrected from the high levels, but the bigger trend is positive. And if we see a classical 50 DMA is working as a very strong support for this counter. After a sharp pullback from high levels, the stock is taking support near its crucial support zone. And today again we have seen some follow-up buying. So Bajaj Finance slowly, steadily we can see a move towards 9,200, 9,300 levels. So Bajaj Finance would be a second serial call within the NBFC space. Right now it's quoting around 8,980, 8,000, 9,000 levels. So आप इस लेवल पे बाय कर सकते हैं. 8,800 का स्टॉप लॉस रख के ऊपर 9,350 के टारगेट के लिए Bajaj Finance you can buy for next couple of days, 2 weeks time. So far we have given 2 calls, that is the CDI calls. Prashant, if it's there, just want to recheck. It's not the BTST call. I just want to confirm it's a CDI call. Conviction delivery call, so you can just recheck because the target and stop losses are relatively much bigger. So generally for BTST we give much smaller stop loss and target. Perfect, thank you so much. Having said that, as you're seeing market, selective sectors are moving well. We have seen good momentum in auto stocks, selective chemical fertilizer are doing well, and this has been the theme for the market. So now after a long time, Nifty Auto has kind of bottom out on the monthly chart. So let me pull out the monthly chart. Yeah. So if we see the setup wise on the monthly chart, we have seen good follow buying on the overall on the auto index. And if we see the setup wise also, it is holding well. And within that, if we see chart setup of Tata Motors, so it's a reversal play counter in which it is near its trading support zone. And if you see the setup wise, let me just pull out the chart. Yeah. So if I just pull out the chart on the daily and the weekly scale, the stock is on the verge of its monthly negation above 682 levels. So from the setup wise, risk reward is favorable, but yeah, this would be a positional investment kind of idea from 2 to 3 months perspective. So अगर auto stocks में buy करना, Tata Motors buy कर सकते हैं 670 से 680 की range में. 630 का stop loss रख के ऊपर 770 के target के लिए, but that would be from 2 to 3 months time frame. Now coming back to the stocks wise and setup wise, Anuj, you can take few stock queries in the meantime, and as we are looking at the market, we'll update on the strategy also we can deploy. and few BTST trades as we see as per the market setup is will update on that. So we can take few stock queries in the meantime, and then we can go forward.
So Godrej Consumers.
If you see the overall consumer pack, Godrej Consumer has been one of the most strongest counter within the FMCG relatively. On the immediate basis, if we see from last 10 to 15 sessions, the stock is trading in a range between 1200 to almost on the 1280 zone from the last 10 to 12 sessions. सो आज भी एक रेंज में है, नीचे 1200 का सपोर्ट है, ऊपर 1280 का हर्डल है. सो अगर आपको बाय करना है तो आप ये लेवल पे बाय कर सकते हैं 1200 का 10 का स्टॉप लॉस रख के ऊपर 1280 के टारगेट के लिए. बट ओवरऑल चार्ट वाइज एक रेंज में है, सो आपको वो रेंज ही प्ले करनी पड़ेगी फॉर दिस काउंटर.
सर महिंद्रा एंड महिंद्रा
M&M, one of the counter from the strongest within the auto pack as that is M&M. So post his result also we have seen very good results from this counter. And if I just open the weekly chart, so where majority of the auto stocks are down by 20 to 30% from their life high territories, M&M is a counter which is barely couple of percentage down from his life high territory. That clearly indicates there is an outperformance in this counter. From positional perspective, 3200 would be the major target. That was the previous supply zone, and once it closes above 3200, the stock can reach to new heights towards 3400, 3500 levels. But on the immediate basis, 3200 would be the major supply zone. At that level, you can book profits.
Sir, what is your thought on defense sector considering all the momentum right now?
Yes, so defense is always in the news, and as we are seeing at the border front also, there's a lot of news regarding the defense. So I'll first open up the weekly daily chart of defense sector as a whole. In the March series, we have seen bottom out in the entire sector, and post that we have seen good momentum also in selective counter. So from a positional perspective, our outlook on defense sector is positive. However, in majority of the counter today, we have seen some cool off because market nature has been whenever there is some news or before that market start discounting that. So पिछले 4 से 5 दिन से हमने अच्छा momentum देखा था, but positionally defense sector में हमारा 2 to 3 months के outlook के हिसाब से it's positive, and within that I'll just suggest top 3 candidates that we are holding and we have strong outlook is first is HL. But from our 2 to 3 months perspective, we are very positive, and slowly, steadily, the stock can head towards 4,800, 5,000 plus levels. Within this sector, second would be BEL. BEL also we have seen some cooler from the high levels, but the setup is very strong and it can reclaim its previous life highs towards 330, 340 levels. So HL, BEL is the second stock, and third would be Mazdog. So Mazdog, if we see the chart setup wise, though today we have seen correction from the higher levels, but it has given a classical monthly breakout above 2750 levels. Today the stock is retesting its previous breakout zone. But as we're talking from a positional perspective, these 3 counters would be a preferred pick. And stock selection would be very much crucial in such market because that is where the alpha is going to get created. 2025 year is broadly will be more sector specific. Index wise, we cannot see much more momentum. It will be a broader range, but sector specific will be very much crucial.
So Bajaj Auto 7700 put at 160.
7700
put.
700. So if you see the overall from the auto bag, yes, we have seen a mixed bag where Hero and Bajaj Auto are underperforming, whereas Eicher and TVS Motor are outperforming. So if you see the setup wise, Bajaj Auto is still weak, and major momentum, more weakness will be below 7750 closing. So 7750 closing के नीचे आता है तो definitely और थोड़ा momentum दिख सकता है. But overall bias negative है Bajaj Auto के लिए. Having said that, ऑटो में काफी हमने डिस्पैरिटी भी देखी है. सो लेवल्स में जब तक ये 7900 के नीचे रहता है तब तक आप इसको पुट होल्ड कर सकते हैं और डाउनसाइड मूव टुवर्ड्स 7700 लेवल्स. GRSE coming back to the cash space stocks, if we see Garden Region, so similar kind of structure we have seen in major of the defense and the shipping stocks. GRSE major support is around 1750 levels. On the upside, major hurdle is around 1850, 2000. The stock has seen good sharp up move, followed by we have seen some cooler from the higher levels. But positionally set up positive है. जब तक 1720 के ऊपर है, our bias will be positive for 2000, 2100 levels. So overall buys would be positive. आज थोड़ा सा negative है, but wait for some reversal. Next couple of days definitely will see again opportunity in this counter because sector rotation चल रहा है. कभी कोई सेक्टर में थोड़ा सा कूल ऑफ हो रहा है तो वहीं ऑफसेट होकर दूसरे सेक्टर में हो रहा है. So 1750 इमीडिएट बेसिस पे और फिर 1700 का मेजर सपोर्ट है. Till the time it holds over 1700, continue to hold the stop.
IRIDA.
IRIDA, if I talk about the chart setup wise, overall the broader view is still in pain. No matter how much we have seen recovery, we have seen in the mid cap and the small cap index, but the bigger trend of the counter is still in pain. So let me pull out the weekly chart. And from past almost so many weeks, we have seen kind of a pullback from the lower levels, but multiple hurdles are intact near around 170 to 175 levels. So I would suggest on the immediate short term to medium term perspective, the chart setup wise is overall weak. It's trading in a range, so better कि कोई भी bounce अगर आता है 168 170 तक का, better to exit the counter because the portion structure is still weak. Some pullback move can be seen, so better to exit the counter on bounce near 168 170 levels.
So Marico bought at 727.
727. So Marico is one of the most strong outperforming counter within the FMCG pack, and if we have bought it at 727, definitely structure wise a classical double bottom pattern on the weekly scale, and since then we have seen a vertical rally, fresh range breakout on the weekly scale after 3 weeks, strong bullish candle, continue to hold the stock. जब तक ये 705 के ऊपर है, a bias would be positive towards 760 777 levels. Within the FMCG pack, this is the first counter that is hitting live highs that clearly indicates the relative strength. So continue to hold the stock with stop loss of 705. Yeah, because before that, as you're discussing about the index setup or wise, so some move we have seen, but broadly it is still in that range. So we are waiting for any strategy that we can come up with decisive. But before that, one of the trade that we have come from the BTST space is from the auto ancillary segment, and that is Samvadan Motherson. So a strong bullish candle, almost open low, same almost a consolidation breakout after 7 to 8 sessions, and holding well above 130 138 139 levels. So first BTST is Samvadan Motherson Sumi. Right now it's quoting around 141 142. आप इसको buy कर सकते हो 137 के stop loss से 148 के target के लिए. So that would be our first BTST call from the auto ancillary space. Anuj, the levels are clear, right?
Yes, we are just sharing it.
Sure. And as you said, the last query you were talking about, there was Suzlon, the last. Yeah. So Suzlon also, though it's been form a good base formation on the monthly and the weekly setup, but on the daily scale, we've seen momentum is missing at high levels. And again, the stock is getting rejected around 61, 62 levels. But at the same time, multiple supports are seen here around 51, 52 levels. So overall, the counter is in downtrend. More or less, it's in sideways, where 50 is the major support, 60 is the major hurdle. So broadly, you have to play this range as per the market setup wise. Right now, the stock is in the lower band. So आप buy कर सकते हैं 51 का stop loss रख के ऊपर 57 और 60 के टारगेट.
So we on Havels.
Havels from the consumer space, white goods. If we see, we have seen a lot of volatility in this counter for the last couple of days. So if I look at the daily and the weekly setup, on the daily scale, it has retested its previous breakout zone. जहाँ पे उसने ब्रेकआउट दिया था अराउंड 15-20 के लेवल्स के अराउंड, आज उसी के वहाँ पे सपोर्ट लिया है. सेटअप वाइज ओवरऑल रेंज बाउंड काउंटर है, नथिंग ग्रेट प्रॉमिसिंग. नीचे में 1550 का सपोर्ट है, ऊपर में 1620 का हर्डल है. टुडेज क्लोजिंग विल बी इंपॉर्टेंट. 1590 के ऊपर अगर क्लोजिंग आती है तो हमें 2 से 3% का मूव दिख सकता है टुवर्ड्स 1620 1630 लेवल्स, बट ओवरऑल रेंज बाउंड पॉजिटिव बायस.
Sir,
Hudco, today they have come out with the results, and post that we have seen some cool off in the stock from the high levels. And also guys, one thing as you're discussing about this, one more thing we would like to mention, as the earnings season is already on, whatever positions you're carrying in the derivatives segment especially, kindly keeps your bet hedge, because post earnings or post definitely can see a knee-jerk reaction in this counter. Coming back to the Hudco, overall the setup wise is still sideways to negative. it is trading in a range between 205 to around 225 levels. So overall, जब तक ये 220 225 नहीं निकलता है, तब तक medium term trend of the stock would be negative. Try to exit this counter on bounce, similar how we discussed for Irida. So अगर 225 230 222 225 तक का bounce आता है, वहाँ पे exit करने की सलाह रहेगी, and better switch it to some better counters within the trending sector space.
The Havels.
Yeah, so Havels, you just share the view just a couple of stocks back itself. But
yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
Godrej Agro.
Godrej Agro, if I see this charts otherwise, it has been overall. Let me pull out the chart for Godrej Agro. Yeah, because I think this is not counted in the FNO space. So let me just a second. Godrej Agro. Wait. Yeah, so setup wise is clearly in downtrend. From last couple of days we have seen wait, I think there's some issue. Wait, I'll go on the I think there's some issue with the price over here. There is some corporate action that has been done on this counter, so we can skip this stock because it's not showing the right price.
Sir, Shriram Finance.
Yeah, no problem. Shriram Finance, right? So from the NBFC space as a sector, we are quite positive on the counter overall. And setup wise, if we see Shriram Finance is clearly in uptrend. So post result, we have seen some cool off from the high levels, but bias wise, it's overall positive. I think there's some setting. Wait, I just need to reset. Just a second. Yeah. So talking about Shriram, overall the base of the stock is still positive, and from a position perspective, we can continue to hold this stock. Overall NBFC space, our outlook is positive on the banking in the financial sector.
Stock on which we can do option trade.
On the option trade, yeah. So if I talk about setup wise, good momentum was seen in the counters such as SRF, Bajaj Finance. So I think we can continue to go with the counters because these both counters are generally trending. So I think Bajaj Finance and SRF both will be counters that we can do option trade. And within the auto space, we have given in the morning also a trade on Maruti, but post that it was in a range. So Maruti, Bajaj Finance, and SRF would be 3 option trades on the positive side that you can play the swing through.
So DCM Shriram.
DCM Shriram. So DCM Shriram, I think the chart has got distorted. Just give me a minute. It's not showing the right price. Yeah. I'll just reshare the screen on it. Just
sure.
Yeah. So talking about the counter, overall this counter is still stuck in a range. Multiple supports are seen near 1050, 1080 levels. Each is supported 970 ka, 960 ka. So overall downward trend mein hai. Better to exit this counter on bounce. And as I'll just like to mention about few details about tomorrow expiry, we have Nifty. So overall setup wise, if we see overall setup wise, Nifty is still in a range and it's consolidating near 24,400 levels. And if you guys remember from a lot of time, we were talking about the overall 2444 level. That was the level that we were talking about from quite a long time. And today also, overall, Nifty has taken hurdle near around 24,450 levels itself. So from tomorrow expiries, key levels that have to be watch out for would be 24,300 on the downside and 24,500 on the upside. That would be the key two levels that have to be watch out for. 24,444 is a VWAP level. That would be a crucial level for tomorrow's expiry. For the option overnight trade, we would avoid, because as the ongoing tension that is going on and India VIX is also at higher levels, so better to trade on the intraday basis for the option buying setup wise. Apart from this couple of shares, CDI calls you have shared, that is SRF, Bajaj Finance, Tata Motor. For the option trade also, Bajaj Finance and SRF looks good, that we can play it out. One BTST you have flashed on the terminal, you have shared the levels, that is Samvardhan, Madan, Sumi. Overall Nifty, Bank Nifty outlook is positive, but having said that, it's very selective within the stock specific. So please go with the sectors that are outperforming and stick to selective heavyweights and the mid cap that are performing well. Result season is going on, so please hedge your positions, because if the result is favorable, then it's very good. But if it's unfavorable, definitely you can see a steep correction on the stock wise or on the sector wise. So with this, I think we can take just one last query, Anuj, and then we can accordingly close it out.
Sure, sir. Zomato. This will be the last query for the day.
Sure. So one of our favorite counters, name has been changed now from Zomato to Eternal. And if we talk about the chart setup wise, overall Eternal is in trading in a range between 228 to 242 levels. From last couple of days, the stock is stuck in that range itself. So overall the bias is positive, but at the same time ये counter जो अब हो गया है buy on dips वाला है. So थोड़ा सा dip अगर आता है 232 230 तक का, वहाँ पे आप buy कर सकते हैं. ऊपर में 242 का hurdle है. Overall positional setup is positive. Immediate basis, the bias will be positive to range.
So guys, that will be all for our afternoon session with our expert Arpit sir. Thank you everyone for joining in. Don't forget to join in tomorrow for the Nifty expiry. Thank you everyone.
Thank you.